What's up, everybody? Ben here. Well, I made a video a couple weeks ago about being deceptive to get the job done, lying to get your guy in, turn himself in. And hey buddy, say hi to Flop, everybody. He wants some attention. Anyway, and I got a bunch of comments and some direct messages about can I help you, sir? Is there something I can do for you in particular? Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Anyway, so there's a lot of people that are like, we do whatever it takes to get the job done, or, the ends justify the means. I think somebody on one of the comments called it tactical deception. Well, that's fine, but let me be clear. I wanted to make this video to sort of as a add-on to the last video. It's like I said, it's not that I won't or never have. It's that I prefer not to be deceptive to get the person into court or to get the person into custody. If I can pick up the phone and I can say, hey, Johnny, I need you to come down to the office. You missed court. I got a warrant for you. And he shows up at the office, then he's not a flight risk. He's not a threat to me financially or otherwise. He's sitting in front of me in my office, and most likely at that point, I'm gonna say, okay, let's ride down to the courthouse, depending on what time of day it is, depending on what's going on. I'm gonna say, okay, Johnny, let's ride down to the courthouse and get this over with. And, I'm gonna ask him some questions. Okay, why'd you miss court? Where are you living at now? I know your phone number's the same, but has anything else changed? I'm gonna update his application. I'm gonna get his new girlfriend's phone number, because he probably broke up with his last girlfriend for, cheating on her with his wife, and she got mad about it, kicked him out of the house. So, that people's information change, people's situations change, and it's people like that that I don't feel like it's necessary to be deceptive right off the bat. And even if it goes beyond that point, I like to be as honest as I can be, but I will be as deceptive as I have to be in order to get the job done. But even that is limited. It's up to a point. If I call Johnny up and his phone number's disconnected, like it so often is, he's not living at the same address, and I catch up with him and he doesn't give me a hard time. Just the other night, me and the team were out and we knock on the door, guy answers the door, and I'm like, hey, I need to speak to so-and-so. Well, he goes out of the living room into a back bedroom, and one of my teammates that are at the back door are like, hey, I got contact at the back. And it turned out that the guy that I asked for was the guy I was talking to, and I didn't recognize him. So, I go in the house, take him into custody, get him out, and the professional agent of the company that his bond belongs to was there with us, and she made the judgment call that she was going to let him make it. She was going to let him go to court the next day. We did not take him down to the jailhouse, but he was living in the house that we had on the application. He was living at the same address. He was, his phone number was the same. We just couldn't get him to answer it. Couldn't get him on the phone. But you know what? That was her judgment call. Now, I protested that judgment call. I said, if it was me, I wouldn't let him make it. Once somebody decides that they're going to run, especially dip out the back door while I'm standing at the front door, they remove all trust at that point. And, if they run from me, fight me, do all this craziness, then I don't negotiate with them. I don't trust them. I don't think they're going to do what they say they're going to do. at that point, once they're in custody, they go to jail. But she operates different than I do. It's her company, so it was her call. And it was her client, you know, somebody she wrote out of jail. So she knew him a little bit better. She's like, you know, he's normally not like this. I don't know what's going on with him. And she let him make it. He did meet her down at the courthouse the next day, and he took care of his stuff. We no longer have that liability. But on the flip side, let's just say he dipped out the back and got away. Well, now, okay, time to negotiate is over. I'm no longer interested in helping this guy, but if I can get him on the phone, I might say, hey, come on in, let me see what we can do. It's not too late. It's not too late to make this right. You know, I might say words that are misleading, but not outright lies, because if he, like I said, if he can show up at my office, if he takes that initiative, I'll go a long way to help somebody. Even if he ran, I might still would help him, but I doubt it, because I'm not big on helping runners unless they can give me a really good excuse, which most of them give the default excuse, I was scared. You know, one time I had a guy say, look, I ran because I couldn't go to jail tonight or last night. I'm good today. I took care of what I had to take care of, but I could not go to jail last night. It would not have turned out well, and blah, 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 blah. He gave me his reason, and you know what? I was like, I probably would have just stayed and talked to me, but I get it. You know, people don't trust bounty hunters and cops and, you know, basically agents of the government in their eyes. People just, there's no trust there anymore like there used to be. And the reason that there's no trust there is because there's so many people in this world that lie, deceit, and BS their way through and out of everything, and people just don't have, people just aren't people of their word anymore. You know, used to be your word was your bond. Used to be if a man shook your hand and looked you in the eye, you could trust what he was saying. Now, people shake your hand twice and look you square in the eye and just lie, lie, lie. So I don't like being known for that. I don't like being known for the guy that can look you in the face and just tell a lie without flinching. It bothers me when I have to lie and deceive to get the job done. It makes me uncomfortable. So I just prefer not to do it, and I won't do it unless I absolutely have to. And guys, the ends do not justify the means. You know, you still have to sleep with yourself at night. You still have to know your conscience. And if it doesn't bother you to be out there just doing people wrong, you know, I know it's easy to say, oh, they're criminals or they're this or they're that, but not everybody's a criminal, even if they run, you know, even if they're hiding from you with every ounce of their being. Always remember, you don't know what the reason is. You can assume that the reason is the piece of paper you're holding in your hand, but you don't know the real reason. People hide from felonies hard. When they're really scared, their attorney or the prosecutor said, look, you're going to do 10 years. There's no way around it. People get scared. They run. They hide. And they trick themselves into thinking that it's freedom. But really, they're just a prisoner of their own running. You know, they're always looking over their shoulder. They're always worried about getting caught. They're always worried about being recognized. So eventually, when that run comes to an end, they're relieved. But in the meantime, you got guys like me out there on their heels chasing them. All right, those guys, I will lie to get my hands on them if that's what it takes. But 99% of the time, that's not what it takes. 1% of the time, it does take that. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like doing it, but I can do it. I can lie with the best of them. I just don't like doing it. I think a lot of you guys missed the boat. You missed the point. And I think that's what's wrong with this industry, is there's too many people out there that are willing to be deceitful. They're willing to be, they're readily willing to go out there and just do things they're not supposed to do, and they're okay with it because the ends justify the means. I think as professionals, as an industry, it's time for us to start weeding these people out, because they have put our livelihoods in danger. These people that we're talking about have put what we do for a living in danger by doing these deceitful things and by, employing these reckless tactics. We need to watch ourselves. I'm not saying there's not gray areas that can go one way or the other, because Lord knows there's a lot of gray areas for us. But when you're sitting there facing a gray area, choose the right way, because you can always hunt another day. If you found them this time, you can find them again. If you got them on the phone this time, you can get them on the phone again. Now, I was chasing this one girl. I think I may have talked about her before. It was a good chase. It was a good hunt. I want to say her name, but I'm sure she'll know who it is if she ever sees this video. Anyway, she's from Oklahoma, and this girl, man, every time I'd get her new phone number, as soon as she heard my voice, she'd throw that phone out the window and just get wherever she was, whatever she was doing, she would toss that phone or destroy it. And every time I'd show up at an address, she'd be gone, be in another state. This girl jump, till finally one day I caught up with where she was at. I knew where she was. But the police department said, if you put your hands on her, we're going to take you to jail. The chief of police told us. It was in Illinois, just in case you're wondering. Illinois doesn't recognize bounty hunters. And we were there, and I called the police department because I know that Illinois doesn't allow bounty hunters. Now, I know there are some people that would have slipped in there, got her in custody, and slipped out, because we were right on the border, man. Right on the border. You could spit across the state line from where we were. But the police chief said, if you put her in handcuffs, we will take you to jail and let her go. Well, I wasn't going to take that chance, so I took another chance. I had one of my agents go down to the courthouse, get in front of a judge while I was still there, say, Judge, we got a problem. Your DA won't approve extradition. The police department there has already picked her up twice on this charge. We got 2 agents there watching where she's living, and we can't touch her. Judge says, well, what you want me to do? Said, let us off the bond. Let us off the bond. And he did. He let us off the bond. I sent word to the person she was living with. I said, you tell her I'm no longer looking for her and to have a nice life. And we left. It wasn't 2 hours this girl was calling me saying, you're not looking for me anymore? No, we're not. Now, I guess I could have been being deceitful and say, no, we're not, and then gone and scooped her up anyway. But she's like, well, then what do I need to do to take care of this? Like what? We couldn't have that conversation a year ago? Well, I was scared, whatever. So I told her contact a lawyer from, where I'm from and get the lawyer to get it taken care of. As far as I'm concerned, I don't really care what she does, because I was out of the liability. There was exigent circumstances around the situation that doesn't normally happen, but I was done with her. At that point, once I was released to liability, I couldn't touch her if I wanted to. If she walked up to me and slapped me in the face, I couldn't take her into custody for my warrant. So that was done. But while I was looking for her, I was lying to everybody. I mean, Like I said, it was a good hunt. I was lying to her mama, to her sisters, to her boyfriend, to her. You know, I was doing everything I could to get this girl to turn herself in. You know, it was a big bond, and I didn't want to have to pay it. But at the end of the day, most of the time, I don't have to lie to people. Most of the time, I can get people to do what I ask them to do just by being honest and having the reputation of being honest. Anyway, that's all for now. Ben the Bondsman and Flop signing out. Remember, bail bonding isn't what we do, it's who we are. Flop. Peace.